3 years after the color play Asia incident, a Taipei hospital hosted a burn survivor reunion. Taiwan-born orthopedist and author Dr. Lin is the definition of the American dream. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. 3 years after the color play Asia incident at the Formosa Fun Coast, Taipei Veteran General Hospital hosted a reunion for the burn survivors.
The simple act of throwing a ping pong ball into the slot is in fact the result of months of rehabilitation for them. The burn survivors came together 3 years after the color play Asia incident at Formosa Fun Coast to celebrate their recovery success stories.
Some of my body functions are still not recovered yet, but it's getting there. I have brought other burn survivors to do some water sports, and this really helps us bond and get our confidence back. When we are recovering together, there is a sense of unity. 499 people were injured and 15 lost their lives in the incident. 3 years later, 272 burn survivors have returned to the workforce, 135 back to school, and 33 people continue to undergo rehabilitation. Other than physical challenges, they also face daily societal judgments. One of their burn survivors, Wang Jiahui, unfortunately had to give up her dream of becoming a member of the Taekwondo national team due to her injury. It's like a twist of fate, and it completely changed my life plans. It took me a while to get used to working in a restaurant, because many people will stare at my hands. However, I just brushed it off and felt like I was just like everyone else.
Everyone was very excited to see old friends at the reunion hosted by the Taipei Veterans General Hospital. The youngest burn survivor, Li Junyi, is about to attend high school. His mother is very proud of his recovery progress.
He is really focused because he saw how fast the other older brothers and sisters were recovering. It has really motivated him to work even harder.
I've witnessed their positive attitudes and the encouragement they give to each other. The network we have built here is a great support system for them psychologically. This is also a big part of their recovery process.
These young people are like phoenix rising from the ashes. They are ready to start a new life journey with their perseverance and strength.
The color play Asia incident that happened 3 years ago forever changed hundreds of lives. The burn survivors are young fighters taking on each challenge one day at a time. Let's meet some of these young warriors.
With trembling hands, he carefully writes down every word. This is Lucent Home writing song lyrics for his mother.
It would be my mother. I count on her for everything. If she wasn't here, I wouldn't be here.
On the day of the incident, Lucent Home had already fled the main zone when the fire broke out. However, he rushed back into the fire to save 2 children. When he went into shock, he never thought that his life would be forever changed. "64% of his body was covered with 2- and 3-degree burns. When he went into shock, his cranial nerves were badly injured. At first, he wasn't able to speak or move around. It's been 3 years. His road to recovery has been nothing short of a miracle." He's hung in there with hope. Now, there are bands that want to sing his songs.
很有情绪，我觉得我刚才弹的也很有情绪。哎，自己讲。
This time around, he's going to sing it himself because this song is dedicated to his mother.
几个地方我唱错了，好像第二遍副歌。
哦，那边有少几句嘛 ？OK， 好，那从那边 ，1 2 3。
你就像天使一样的短，我又唱错了。
哦，没关系。
This is the first time after the incident that Sen-Hong's mother has seen him achieve so close to his dreams. No more broken wings for this angel. Competing in the 2018 Universiade Taekwondo tournament, it's Zhang Hongdring's dream. He does not have the appearance of a burn survivor, only the strength of a fighter.
这么说好了，这家伙到底有没有受伤，我不清楚。对，我觉得是那种决
I think that kind of determination is what makes people respect him. I just admire him. Like, how does he do it?
It was only about a year after the Color Play Asia incident that he returned back to training. Each session was pure sweat and blood.
His pants in the corner areas, there's always blood stains. Sometimes, when the amount of blood was too great, the fabric would directly stick onto his wounds.
Yeah, it wouldn't wash off. Oh well. After surgery, this part will no longer split open. Just hold it like this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then your six-pack will come back again.
They believe that if you don't give up, everything will come back again. They're still young. The future is brighter than the flames that once made them fall.
When Hurricane Harvey hit Texas last year, Jenna Deep, who's the executive director of both People SOS, was impressed by city volunteers' contributions. When she found out that they were having an English retreat, she quickly signed up as a participant.
I'm the executive director of both People SOS here in Houston. During Harvey, we had a lot of people calling into the office to know where they can get resources like water, food, and other resources that can help them, after the storm. This is a very busy center. CEO he actually came to our office a couple of days after Harvey, and he actually reached out to us. He brought some of the volunteers and. We're here to help, let us know how we can help. And so we're like, wow. Because I'm a Buddhist, and so I heard about the retreat and said they had a lot of great topics, so I signed up.
Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Huang.
What does Superman do when he goes out for a mission? Yeah, change it. So let me do the same thing.
I really love the retreat. I learned so much. Sometimes you have to kind of like self-care, right? The love and speech, that's what you need the most during disasters, right? Tsuji is really the values that, we all need to work on every day.
In 600 feet, your destination will be on the left.
She's very good. And that they for the people announced by radio. They give them money, they give them material, something help. Blanket, card, money.
The Tsuji retreat is just working together, all of us, everyone, because we can't do it alone, because we won't be able to help everyone unless we do it together.
Nowadays, man-made fibers are relatively warm and wrinkle-resistant. However, no matter what the material they're made from, the manufacturing process requires dyes that may contain harmful chemicals and heavy metals. 85% of the world's textile garment industry still uses chemical dyes to make clothing.
While clothing styles may change, one of the main ingredients continues to be polyester fiber.
Do I know what artificial fiber polyester fiber is made from? No, I don't.
What is the raw material behind polyester fiber worn by everyone? Many people don't know this. In fact, plastic materials are all derived from crude oil. Taiwan, which does not produce crude oil, as it is totally dependent upon imports from abroad. This raw material is processed by the petrochemical industry, which makes two categories of products, the first of which is gasoline, diesel, and kerosene. The other group is ethylene, polypropylene, and butadiene. The latter can be transformed through a chemical reaction to produce artificial fibers such as polyester, nylon, acrylic, and polypropylene. Artificial fiber was a major invention 130 years ago. Before it was established, humans made clothes from natural fibers such as cotton, hemp, wool, and silk. However, nowadays, artificial fibers are replacing most natural fibers, now accounting for more than 66% of global textile fiber use.
Clothes made from artificial fiber are both lighter and longer lasting.
Artificial fiber fabrics have thermal properties, are wrinkle-free, do not shrink, but they do not absorb sweat and are not as breathable as natural fibers. Therefore, clothes are sold on the market that are billed as blended materials offer both advantages.
If it is 100% cotton, you simply wash it and you will shrink a lot. But now with a weave design and adding a polyester fiber blend means it will only shrink about 7 to 8% when compared to traditional cotton.
This circular loom and densely packed yarn mixes artificial and natural fibers together into a fabric.
After weaving, it is almost impossible to determine that it is blended fabric from the outside unless you take it apart to see the fibers inside.
Here's a large textile storage facility in Bangladesh, where 800 metric tons of polyester textiles, natural textiles, and blended textiles are stored. No matter what kind of fibers are used, almost all this material is white when it is spun into a cloth. Now we investigate how it is dyed.
All the fabric is sent from here to begin the dyeing and finishing process.
The process of dyeing cloth or yarn is the most polluting part of the clothes journey, leading to a large amount of chemical dyes. These 950 bobbins of yarn, which weigh 1 metric tons, need a robotic arm, as it is dipped into this huge dye tank. After yarn has been dyed, its moisture content is nearly 100%, making it quite heavy, as it has to be loaded into this machine, where 75% of the water is removed. The dyeing and finishing process consumes a lot of water, as most of the dye is not completely absorbed by the yarn, as it flows out as wastewater, but is the dye on the clothes completely harmless to the human body.
Many of his businesses use chemical dyeing and finishing, including chemical fluorescent brightening agents. When these things are made into clothes, especially for women, the breast and other important organs can directly absorb the chemicals in these fabrics, which can cause cancer.
From the textile raw materials to the garment manufacturing process, some 8,000 kinds of chemicals may be used. If frontline manufacturers are not strictly controlled, such clothing could flow out to the market.
115.
All these clothes are made locally in Bangladesh. We're in a local market where we buy 2 adult t-shirts. We bought a total of 10 pieces of clothing and sealed them and brought them back to Taiwan. Inspectors take a small piece of the clothing and cut it into small pieces and add reagent and heat it to 100 degrees Celsius for 1.5 hours. This will dissolve the heavy metal in the clothing, which will later be examined by a mass spectrometer.
This heavy metal, copper, has a high concentration on 4 different samples.
Of the 10 samples of clothes made in Bangladesh, 4 contain very high levels of copper. Although Taiwan has no standard for copper residue in clothing, the content of copper in 2 of the clothes was found to be comparable to that of farmland. This actually surpasses the safe level of copper for soil. Is it safe to wear this clothing?
When wearing it and it touches your skin or interacts with your sweat, it could affect your skin.
Long-term intake of some heavy metals could cause memory loss or even neuritis.
Globally, more than 80 international brands and suppliers have promised to undertake non-toxic production, though 85% of the textile and garment industry have yet to improve.
最好的方法是从源头。
The best way to control this issue is to begin from the source and not allow it to enter the environment or the human body. These harmful chemicals in the end need to be controlled and screened to be most effective.
How to eliminate harmful chemicals from the garment production process is something that affects everyone, as more transparency and monitoring is needed to ensure personal safety as well as that of the environment.
The famous Taiwanese-American orthopedist Dr. Matthew Lin recently held a book signing for his autobiography. Having been educated in Taiwan, he's now the Deputy Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
After attending the lecture today, to understand what my book talks about, you don't need to spend time reading the book when you go back, do you?
Kicking off the book launch event in a humorous way, the U.S. orthopedist Matthew Lin further explains the meaning of his book title.
The book title means high mountains will not stop white clouds from drifting. Sometimes I see hope in my life, but sometimes I feel disappointed. So the real intention of my book is to encourage young people to seize the ever-changing opportunities and move forward.
Although this book is about the autobiography of Dr. Lin, it also presents the epitome of life. The true meanings of romance, love, and compassion can all be witnessed in this book.
He turned the unfair treatments he had received during his stay in a foreign country into a stepping stone on the road to success. After his journey to the Himalayas, he decided to do his part to help people who are in need.
The patient's left eye got inflamed, which looked like a bubble. After receiving medical treatment for a month, the girl completely regained her eyesight. At that time, I just did what I could to help her restore her vision. So I thought I should do more.
For many years, Dr. Lin has been following city volunteers to conduct free clinics in remote areas and be engaged in international disaster relief work.
Just like the way that Master Zheng Yan calls on us, of course I hope all the young people who come out and serve as other people's benefactors.
Since Green Island lacks medical resources, when patients are seriously ill or injured, National Airborne Service Corps will conduct medical evacuations. To ensure the medical personnel and the crew can carry out the mission successfully, they need to receive adequate training.
We received a phone call saying that a surfer seemed to have sent out distress signals.
I have received information saying that someone has been injured. I will double-check the information. We can take off in 20 minutes.
When incidents like drowning, vehicle accidents, or serious illnesses cannot be managed on Green Island, National Airborne Service Corps will transport the patients back to Taiwan's main island.
When the water is not good, you can only pray to God. Can you wait till tomorrow to save your life?
In 2005, National Airborne Service Corps was set up, with air rescue being one of the 5 main missions. In 2017, Black Hawk Fleet in Taitung was also formed.
With the occasional monsoons, the weather can be terrible. Therefore, passenger planes cannot fly and boats stop operating. We have to execute our missions under such adverse weather. As long as we can see, it is quite dangerous.
In February of 2018, a Black Hawk helicopter had an accident on Orchid Island. These unsung heroes have to risk their safety to save the lives of other people.
We try to minimize our missions at night while executing medical evacuations. After all, there are more limitations at night compared to daytime. In times of emergency, we take off as soon as we're able to.
The rescuers are racing against time on every mission. In daytime, they can usually take off after 30 minutes. During nighttime, they usually take off after 50 minutes.
We usually struggle whenever we execute missions. Working under great pressure, whenever we save a person's life, we feel a sense of achievement.
In the past, the nurses at Out Island's Public Health Center have to be on the helicopter. After getting to Taiwan's main island, they have to return to outlying islands by themselves. After the Black Hawk helicopter accident on Orchid Island, Ministry of Health and Welfare finally made some changes.
We now hire a medical support company who can provide qualified staff members to be on the helicopter. They are stationed in Taidong. This way, the staff at our public health center is not affected.
To save lives, training is very important. The crew members take turn to play the role of patients so the other people can practice rescue missions.
By taking on different roles, the medical personnel can get familiar with our medical equipment and supplies. Most important of all, they learn ways to stabilize the patient.
Nevertheless, air rescue and medical evacuation means a lot more than caring for patients.
During our learning process, we have not learned about medical care on the helicopter. We face more pressure as we are not familiar with the plane and do not know how to cooperate with the crew. After the training, we will know how to care for the patients.
After National Airborne Service Corps was formed, it has carried out medical evacuation from Green Island for more than 300 times. These unsung heroes race against time to save every precious life. Huayu Village in Penghu is a remote region where many elderly residents with chronic illnesses live. Therefore, TIMA members conduct regular free clinics at the village.
Tzu Chi volunteers line up to move the medical equipment and aid supplies onto the ship. Their destination is the furthest island of Penghu, Huayu. Tzu Chi volunteers and TIMA members conduct regular free clinics all over the different islands of Penghu. Consider that the residents in Huayu Island are mostly seniors. Traditional Chinese medicine doctor Lin Zhijian always prepare many needed medications.
The majority of the residents on the remote islands have very simple diets, which is mostly fish with little vegetables. Overconsumption of fish can lead to metabolic syndrome, so I prepared some medications targeting this issue. I had also prepared some medications to prevent the common cold and the flu virus.
The venue for the free clinic was not huge, but the medical services provided were as diverse as a mobile hospital. There were internal medicine, family medicine, general surgery, orthopedics, neurology, dentistry, and traditional Chinese medicine.
The public here needs us to come to share professional medical knowledge with them. If they don't understand something, we can provide them with public health education. I believe this is part of our responsibility.
In addition to the fixed free clinic area, volunteers and doctors also provided medical home visits for the elderly with mobility issues. Doctors shall check the grandma's physical condition carefully and ask about her living habits to give her the most appropriate care and prescriptions.
It's easy for an 80-something-year-old senior like her, who rarely goes outdoors, to be suffering from osteoporosis. All of us encourage her to go out to bathe in the sun more, which will drastically improve her overall health.
Other than providing medical services, the volunteers also help cut the seniors' nails and hairs while they were there. They hope that these elders can feel healthy and refreshed during the summertime.
Let's take a look at how the residents at Pingdong Christian Bethany Home are turning pineapples into dried fruit. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.